Welcome back to Simply Sakura, my friends. I hope you are all doing well today. My name is Gary Sakura, and this is my MotoVlog and True Crime stories. I simply drive around on my motorbike and tell true crime stories. If you are new here, greetings, and I am so glad that you stopped by. If you are interested in true crime and love seeing a different, unique type of motovlog, then I suggest that you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any future crime stories. I've been itching to get out and tell more true crime stories while I ride throughout the Panama City area, but unfortunately, it's been a solid week of miserable weather. The rains moved in once again into the Panhandle area, and I simply could not get out to ride. I would like to continue to put out videos on a weekly basis, but with the rains rolling into the area, it makes it quite difficult to do that at times. Before I begin with the stories today, I just briefly want to say that I appreciate those Simply Sakura subscribers that continue to support me. I honestly would not have the drive to continue with this channel without all of your fantastic support. I strive to find research stories that are not over the top graphic. With the new YouTube policies, you have to be careful of the content. Since I started this MotoVlog and True Crime series about 6 weeks ago, I've lost 2 videos due to the nature of the YouTube's new policy. Yeah, it sucks, but I just learn, improve from it, and move on. With that, let's start with our first crime story. Our first crime story takes place in Benton County, Missouri, where the parents of a 4-year-old girl have been charged in connection with her death. The parents said they were trying to remove a demon they thought were inside their 4-year-old child. Pictured here are the parents, Mary Mast, 29, and James Mast, 28, both of Lincoln, Missouri. They were charged with felony child endangerment resulting in death, and they were both jailed without bond. The couple's other children, a 2-year-old son and an infant, were placed immediately in protective custody. The 4-year-old girl was found dead at the family home on December 20th, 2020. The 4-year-old girl had been severely beaten, and then she was dunked in an icy pond as part of what appeared to be a religious cult episode. Mary and James Mast were both being charged with endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree resulting in death, as well as domestic assault in the first degree. Across the couple's street, neighbors Ethan Mast, 35, and Courtney Allman, 21, pictured here, were both charged with second-degree murder. It is believed that Ethan is not related to John and Mary Mast, per the multiple reports. In the official press release, the sheriff's office received many phone calls claiming that the 4-year-old's death and the surrounding circumstances were the actions of a cult. Mary and James' 2-year-old son were also beaten to a severe extent, had been taken to the regional hospital. Mary and James said they were instructed by their neighbors, Ethan Mast and Courtney Allman, not to provide aid or comfort to the family's children. They were instructed that they themselves would be beaten or even shot if they tried to interrupt. On December 20th, the sheriff's office said that the Benton County Dispatch was notified shortly after 1 a.m. about a 4-year-old's death. In a press release at that time, James Mast told deputies that his daughter had been beaten, submerged in a pond, and then left to freeze on the bank before taken back into the residence. A statement filed by the court said that when asked how he could let people beat his family, James said they were told his wife had a demon inside her, and her children would end up just like her if it was not taken care of. During interviews with investigators, there had been some reference to gods and demons. Additional interviews have been held with family members, both local and out of state, as well as others who know the parties involved. The investigation done so far indicated that this was an isolated incident and not the actions of a cult. A probable cause statement from Benton County Sergeant Chris Wilson said that the girl was already dead and had severe purple bruising all over her body, along with ruptured blisters. The 4-year-old was taken to a pond behind the home, where she was dunked in the water on a day when high temperatures were in the 40s. Ethan Mast said everyone then returned to the victim's home. It wasn't clear when the 4-year-old child died. Ethan reportedly admitted to the investigators to using a leather belt to beat the 4-year-old on December 19th before dunking her in the pond behind the home. James Mast said that at one point he and his wife were forced to watch as the couple allegedly sexually abused their 4-year-old daughter. A mugshot of Mary Mast showed her with what appeared to be a black eye. Court documents revealed that James Mast told investigators that Ethan and Courtney had been beating him and his family for 2 weeks, and he was beaten with a wooden spoon for trying to comfort his wife and children. Mary and James requested to attend their daughter's funeral, but was denied by the judge. Mary and James both pleaded not guilty during their arraignment. On January 8th, 2021, and facing multiple charges in connection with the brutal beating of their 4-year-old daughter, Mary Mast was described as smiling and laughing in court. Mary was seen turning around from her attorney and smiling the whole way out of court. How disturbing is that? Mary's next court appearance is scheduled for February 2nd, 2021. As soon as I see an update, I will pass that along to everyone. Our next crime story, which really is 3 short true crime stories, all take place in the beautiful Yellowstone National Park. These can be classified as Simply Sakura's exceptionally weird but true stories. Our first short Yellowstone true crime story I will simply entitle, "Hey, Idiot! That's not a crock pot." Yellowstone Rangers busted a man trying to cook chickens in one of the hot spring pools. A group of people, including a man from Idaho Falls, Idaho, was recently busted in Yellowstone National Park while he was trying to cook chickens in one of the park's geothermal hot springs. The man from Idaho Falls, however, has been barred from Yellowstone National Park after he picked the wrong place for his cookout. A park ranger received reports that a group carrying cooking gear was trekking towards a hot spring. The ranger found not only a group of 10, which included at least one child, but also 2 whole chickens crammed into a burlap sack, getting heated up by one of the hot springs. For his culinary blunder, the Idaho Falls man was given a citation for walking into the thermal area, to which he pleaded guilty to. He was also hit with a $600 fine, as well as 2 years of unsupervised probation, and banned from Yellowstone for the next 2 years. FYI, traveling off the designated paths in Yellowstone are dangerous, as ground can be brittle and home to a body of hot water underneath. Many of the geysers and hot springs are very unpredictable, so park rangers take the off-trail excursions very seriously. I can't imagine that chicken boiled in sulfur-heated water can taste very delicious. And while Yellowstone may be doing things to improve the park for visitors, cooking stations at the geysers will never be a part of their future plans. Our next short Yellowstone true crime story I will simply entitle, "What the Hell Are You Thinking?" A bison calf had to be euthanized after being put into a car by tourists. 2 tourists from outside of the United States were visiting Yellowstone National Park when they saw a bison calf, and they grew concerned that the poor calf was freezing and dying. So the tourists put the calf in their SUV, here's a real picture of it, and eventually made contact with park rangers. The 2 were ticketed, and the calf was returned to where it was found. The park rangers attempted to reunite the calf with the herd, which it was believed to have come from. However, because the calf had come into contact with humans, the herd rejected the calf, and it had to be later euthanized because it was abandoned and causing dangerous situations by continually approaching people and cars along the roadway. Our last Simply Sakura's exceptionally weird but true story I will simply entitle, "Dorothy, I'm melting." A man looking to bathe in nature's warm tub of water dies in a scalding hot thermal pool. Ouch. A 23-year-old man died after falling into a Yellowstone National Park hot spring. He was trying to look for a place to soak in one of the park's natural thermal pools. The man and his sister left the boardwalk near Pork Chop Geyser. The sister even took video with her cell phone. Her brother reached down to check the water temperature, and guess what? He fell into the scalding pool. Search and rescue rangers spotted the man's body in the pool the day of the accident. But unfortunately, a lightning storm prevented any recovery efforts. By the next day, park rangers could not find any remains. There was nothing left to recover. You think? Our last true crime story of the day has to be one of the most strange and unorthodox things I came across to date on the web. Security cameras are meant to catch things that you otherwise miss. And every once in a while, they manage to capture a really unexpected moment. Take, for example, the footage I'm about to show you, in which a Ring security camera captured that was set up by a family in Salina, California. The incident started at 5 a.m. in the morning when a strange man showed up on camera in front of the residence. The homeowners weren't inside of the house at the time, but they received a notification on their phone from the security camera that there was activity at the front door. As it turned out, the notification was triggered by a strange man getting overly intimate with the doorbell system while maintaining full eye contact with the camera. The video shows the 33-year-old approaching the home's porch in the early hours of the morning before embarking on a marathon intercom licking session. That would be weird enough on its own, but somehow things got a lot weirder from there. The man, who police identified as 33-year-old Robert Daniel Arroyo, continued licking the doorbell. Get this, licking the doorbell for more than 3 hours. The children of the family were inside the house at the time, but apparently no interaction had occurred with the man. Arroyo also appeared to relieve himself in the front yard, as if he hadn't already done enough to violate the property. The situation was certainly strange, and freaked out some of the neighbors around the complex. The man was allegedly also going to other neighbors' homes, though it's not clear if he also lit the doorbell there or not, but it did draw some official interest. It could be argued that the man did no harm to the homes or to any of the residents, beyond making the families needing to break out some disinfectant for the doorbell before they have guests over. According to an online report, officers from the Salina Police Department have taken a different view, however, and the case against Robert has been passed on to the district attorney's office. Robert faces charges of theft, prowling, and violation of his probation. This just kind of reinforces everyone how important it is to have security within and outside of their home. Anyway, this concludes today's Motovlog and True Crime Stories with Simply Sakura. I do hope you continue to find these stories interesting. There are plenty more Motovlog and True Crime Stories coming very soon. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you have any comments or maybe suggestions of a true crime story that you would like for me to talk about, I highly encourage that you leave them down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.